welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something pretty cool today. We're looking at how AI and open data, all that tech stuff, how that's actually pushing us towards a more circular economy.
Interesting stuff, yeah.
It is. And our source for this deep dive, it's the Global Open Data and AI Summit. They held it in London, 2025.
Wow, 2025, they're thinking ahead.
Yeah, they are. But get this, what they're talking about, it's already happening. It's like using technology to change how we make things, how we buy things, and how we, try not to waste so much.
That's a big challenge.
It is. Really makes you think, how do we break out of this cycle of take, make, dispose? We all do it.
Yeah, we do. What I find really interesting is how this summit is showing off real examples, like companies using AI to optimize their resources right now.
Really? Like what?
So there's this textile manufacturer, right? They used AI to analyze their production process, and they found out they were wasting like 20% of their fabric.
20%?
Yeah, just from inefficient cutting patterns. Crazy, huh? And then the AI, it recommended a new algorithm, and boom, they cut that waste by 15%.
That's a lot of savings.
Huge. Not just for them, but for the planet too. Less waste means fewer resources, right?
Yeah, it's like having a sustainability expert built right into the system.
Exactly.
But okay, these AI systems, they got to have information to work with, right? So how does open data fit in?
It's the fuel. Think of it like that. Open data gives the AI the blueprint, the detailed map of how a company uses its resources.
So it can spot those inefficiencies.
Exactly. And the best part, this isn't just for the big guys. Smaller businesses can use this too, open data and AI, to make their operations, smoother, more efficient.
So AI can find those weak spots and suggest ways to fix them. What about waste? Like the stuff we've already, generated. I keep hearing about these robots, the ones that can sort through recyclables. Is that for real?
Oh, it's getting more and more common, for sure. They use these super advanced sensors, algorithms, the whole shebang. They can tell different materials apart, even if it's all mixed up.
Really?
Yeah, and they're really accurate, which is super important. It cuts down on contamination, the recycling, all that.
Right. So less contamination means more effective recycling.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff out of the landfill, keep it in circulation.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the sorting part. But what about the rest of waste management, like the collection, the routes, all that? Can AI help there too?
Oh, absolutely. Some cities are already using AI to plan those garbage truck routes, make them super efficient, less fuel, less time.
Wow, it's like a GPS for garbage trucks.
That's a great way to put it. Saves money, and it cuts down on those greenhouse gases too.
That's fantastic. So we've talked about how AI is impacting, how we deal with waste. But what about the whole life cycle of a product, like from the very beginning? Can AI and open data help us make things that are, more sustainable from the get-go?
That's where this idea of a product's digital passport comes in. Imagine you can track a product, like literally from its raw materials all the way through manufacturing to its use, and then, the end of its life.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's like a full history. AI and open data make that kind of transparency possible.
So we'd have this record of a product's journey, its environmental impact, like every step of the way.
Yeah, and that's huge for making better decisions about design, what materials to use, all of that.
Powerful stuff. So designers could use that to create products that last longer, are easier to repair, just overall more sustainable.
Exactly. Think of a phone that's like designed to be taken apart easily so you can reuse the parts or recycle them. AI can even help figure out the best, most sustainable materials to use right from the start.
Okay, that changes everything. It's not about things breaking down quickly anymore. It's about building them to last, to be part of that circular system.
That's the goal.
But what about supply chains? They're so complicated, often kind of hidden, How can AI make them more transparent, more sustainable?
Think of AI as a detective in this case. It can track where materials come from, pinpoint any potential problems in the supply chain.
Like what?
Well, let's say a furniture company wants to use sustainably sourced wood, right? AI can help them make sure that the wood they're getting is actually, up to those standards.
So it's like a check, making sure companies are doing what they say they're doing.
Exactly. And that transparency, it's good for the environment, and it builds trust with consumers. People care about where their stuff comes from.
More and more these days, for sure. Speaking of consumers, can AI actually help people make more sustainable choices, like in their everyday lives?
Definitely. Imagine an app, right? It analyzes your shopping habits, sees what you like, and then recommends eco-friendly alternatives.
That'd be cool.
Or an app that helps you find local businesses that are all about the circular economy, like repair shops, secondhand stores, that kind of thing.
So it's like AI guiding us towards better choices, even if we're not, experts ourselves.
Exactly. And with open data providing all the info, consumers can see the environmental impact of what they're buying, make informed decisions.
It's empowering to know we can make a difference with, what we choose to buy, support companies that are doing things right.
Absolutely. That kind of consumer pressure, it can really push companies to change, to adopt those circular business models.
This all sounds really promising, but let's be real for a second. Shifting to a circular economy, it's not going to be easy, right? There's got to be challenges.
Oh, for sure. There's the logistics, the tech limitations, and, just getting everyone on board. It's a big change, but the potential payoff, it's huge.
I'm really curious to hear more about those challenges and, the solutions people are coming up with. Let's dig into that in the next part of our deep dive.
One of the biggest things is just how complicated supply chains are globally. I mean, it's like this whole network of suppliers and manufacturers, distributors, retailers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah, spanning continents even, trying to track all those materials and products through that system. It's a massive job.
Sounds like a nightmare, honestly, like trying to, untangle a huge knot or something. How can AI even begin to help with that?
Well, it brings a level of, visibility and control that we haven't really had before. Like, imagine AI systems that are tracking materials in real time from the moment they're dug up all the way to the final product.
Wow. So we could actually see the whole journey of a product.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah, and spot any, potential issues along the way, bottlenecks, inefficiencies, even ethical problems.
So if a company says, hey, we use sustainable wood, AI can actually prove that they're doing that.
Exactly. It's like having a digital watchdog, making sure everyone's playing by the rules.
Love that. But what about us, the everyday folks? One thing I always get confused about is recycling. What can be recycled, what can't? It seems like the rules change everywhere.
Oh, I know. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
And it really messes with, how effective recycling can be. But AI can help with that too.
Really? How?
Think about it. An app that uses image recognition. You take a picture of something and it tells you exactly how to recycle it right there in your city.
That would be amazing. No more guessing games, no more feeling guilty about messing up the recycling bin.
Right. It makes it easier and way more effective overall.
Okay, so AI can help us deal with all that recycling confusion. But what about businesses? How can they actually, start using these circular economy ideas in practice?
One of the biggest things is adopting circular business models. That means like designing their whole business around minimizing waste and reusing as much as possible.
So it's not just about being a little bit less bad. It's about making sustainability the core of how they operate.
Exactly. And AI can make that happen. For example, there are platforms that use AI to connect companies. One company's trash is another company's treasure, basically.
That's so cool. So instead of stuff going to the landfill, it gets used again somewhere else.
Yeah. It's a win-win. Good for the planet and good for business. And it's not just for industrial stuff either. AI can make it easier to share and reuse consumer goods, too.
So instead of always buying new things, we could rent or borrow or resell the stuff we don't need anymore.
Exactly. We move away from owning everything to, having access to what we need. And AI makes that process super smooth.
I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like AI isn't just about making things more efficient. It's about making us rethink how we produce and consume everything.
Yeah, that's the heart of it. Moving away from that take, make, dispose model to something more sustainable, more regenerative.
This is all incredibly promising. But are there downsides to using AI in this way? Is there anything we should be worried about?
Well, it's important to remember that AI is just a tool. And like any tool, it can be used, for good or for bad. We need to be careful and make sure AI is being developed responsibly.
So what kind of things should we be watching out for?
Data security is a big one. These AI systems need a ton of data, and we have to protect that data from, hackers or misuse. We need strong security, ethical data handling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Data privacy is super important. What about the impact on jobs? I've heard people say that AI could automate a lot of work, lead to people losing their jobs.
It's a valid concern for sure. But throughout history, new technology has often led to new jobs, new industries. We need to focus on retraining, giving people the skills they need for these new roles.
So it's about adapting, being ready for the changes AI is going to bring.
Yeah, and remember, AI isn't about replacing humans entirely. It's about giving us tools to be more effective, to solve problems in better ways.
This has been such a fascinating look at how AI can help us move towards a circular economy. But, How do we actually get there? What are the next steps to making all this happen?
Collaboration is key. We need governments, businesses, research institutions, everyone working together.
So it's about bringing together all the smarts, all the resources, and focusing them on this goal.
Exactly. We also need to invest in research and development, to keep pushing those technologies forward. AI, machine learning, sensors, material science, all of it.
It sounds like it'll take a lot of work, a lot of different things happening at once.
It's a big challenge, no doubt, but the rewards are huge. If we can make this work, we can create a future that's sustainable and prosperous for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered the big picture stuff, but for, the average person listening, what can they actually do to be a part of this circular economy shift?
Well, I think a lot of it starts with just being more aware, like paying attention to the things you buy, the materials, the packaging, all of that.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's about choosing things that last longer instead of those, disposable things we're all so used to.
Exactly. And don't forget about repairing things, upcycling, don't throw something away just because it's a little worn out.
Yeah, give it a second life. I've been trying to do more upcycling lately, turning old clothes into bags, that sort of thing.
That's great. It's creative and it helps the planet. And another thing you can do is support businesses that are already doing this, Local repair shops, vintage stores, companies that are transparent about where their stuff comes from.
Right, so we can actually make a difference with how we spend our money.
Absolutely. It sends a message to those companies.
Right.
But it's not just about individual choices. You can also, get involved on a bigger level.
Like how?
Well, stay informed about what's happening in your community. Contact your representatives, tell them you support policies that, promote the circular economy. Talk to your friends and family about it. Spread the word.
It's good to be reminded that we're not just, powerless consumers. We can actually push for change.
Exactly. And technology can help with that too, giving us information, connecting us with other people who, care about these issues.
And open data plays a big role there, right? The more we know about supply chains, product life cycles, all of that, the better choices we can make.
For sure. Transparency is key.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
Right.
From, AI optimizing factories to apps that help us recycle. What's the one big thing you want our listeners to take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is that the circular economy, it's not some, distant dream. It's happening now. And it's not just about fancy technology. It's about all of us making conscious choices every single day.
Yeah, it's empowering to realize we all have a part to play.
We do. And that's exciting.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks so much for, taking us on this journey with you.
My pleasure.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us. We hope you've learned something new and maybe even feel a little bit more hopeful about the future. Remember, even small actions can make a big difference. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep making those choices that matter. See you next time.